viewers and subscribers. Welcome to Historical African Martial Arts Association's YouTube channel. My name is Frank Perrin. For those who may not recognize me on the channel, it's totally understandable. I've only been on here a sporadic amount of times, but you would most likely recognize my name from the Mamluk project website. The project that Hema has had active for a few years, and that is the project of translating our 15th century Egyptian fight manual. Now, I was originally brought on to the team to write mostly supplemental materials, provide some background and context research. I have a master's degree in public history, and I am a art history and ancient civilizations teacher at a preparatory high school in Rhode Island in the United States. So I have a lot of background in the Middle East and North Africa, and also my practicing of the historical martial arts of Persia was serving as kind of a basis in which to reference some of the stuff that we pulled out of the Mamluk treatise. But as we discovered more and more techniques and got them translated, my background as a mounted archer and an equestrian really came in handy. So after the sections of the book had begun to be translated, we got a lot of solid spear work down, and I was tasked to grab the horses that I work with for mounted archery and start to train them and prepare them to practice and show the techniques on. So what I'm going to share with you today is the first part in a video that showcases just a tad bit of the preparation that I did with one of our horses with the spear. So you're not going to be seeing too much of the actual translated techniques shown today, but rather just an introductory section to how I prepare these horses for using the spear, because obviously a lot of them are used to bow and arrow and have never really been around a long polearm before. So there's a little bit of work that went into prepping these horses. So this is just part one, and then each subsequent video from here on out will be highlighting specific techniques that have been translated out of our manuscript. So I hope you enjoy the talk about the process that goes into training these horses and what I had to do to prepare them for this, and I hope you enjoy the fruits of our labor thus far. Thank you. Okay, so the first thing I had to do was introduce the spear to the horse. Right, horses are interesting creatures because they can go through a lot, they can withstand a lot of noise, a lot of trauma, right, in the battlefield. But just introducing them to the weapon can be finicky, especially because these are mounted archery horses and not used to it. So here I have the spear, and I'm just walking around slowly and with the spear on my foot. And you'll notice I start transitioning the butt cap over the back of her neck. And I'm just doing this so that she can get accustomed to feeling something move over her neck in a way that she may not normally be used to sensing and feeling that, right? Especially if it hits her neck or something, it might be something that she's totally not accustomed to feeling, that can spook her out and actually make her kind of afraid of the spear and using it. But so far, Roni here doesn't seem to have any problem, which is really good. So I kept walking around the ring, getting her acclimated to that, and after a few passes, when there was no reaction, I started to move on to the next slow introduction phase. But it's really important to get the horse used to it. Next was introducing some basic attacks, literally just some thrusts on different sides of her head and face. So you see I'm taking the spear and I'm moving it over the side of her face. Doesn't seem to care about it, doesn't spook her out, doesn't really have any interest. So then I just start playing around with some basic thrusts down to the ground, where an opponent may be.
And she also doesn't care. But this is important, right? Because this is a new kind of movement that could come out of nowhere, especially with a horse's peripheral vision. They don't have the best, especially when you're coming up from behind. So she didn't seem to care about that. So I then moved on to introducing some basic concepts that were taken out of the Mamluk treatise, and I started to apply them to horseback. All right, so here I went about introducing and practicing the technique known as Zendaya, which is pretty much when you spin the spear over your head in order to clear space to deliver thrusts down to or cuts down to the ground, either one. My mounted archery training came in handy here because you see I use my right leg to kick her over when she starts veering, which allows me to use the spear with two hands and no reins. So she did really good with these early versions of the techniques, and I look forward to showing you the work that we did together on the rest of the translated techniques. So we'll catch you next time on our next update from Historical African Martial Arts Association. Thank you so much, everybody.
The Historical African Martial Arts Association's Hero Series celebrates the great military leaders of Africa's past. Order yours today at teespring.com.